2 Samuel chapter 24. The census and the plague. The anger of Adonai blazed up against Israel, so he moved David to act against them by saying, "Go, take a census of Israel and Yehudah." The king said to Joab, the commander of the army, who was with him, "Go systematically through all the tribes of Israel, from Dan to Beersheba, and take a census of the population, so that I can know how many people there are." Joab said to the king, "May Adonai your God add to the people 100-fold, no matter how many there are. And may the eyes of my lord the king see it. But why does my lord the king take pleasure in doing this?" However, the king's word prevailed against Joab and the army officers. So Joab and the army officers went out from the king's presence to take a census of the people of Israel. They crossed the Jordan and pitched camp in Aroer, to the south of the city in the Valley of Gad, went on to Yaza, came to Gilad and continued to the land of Tachtamhodshi. Then they arrived at Dan Yahan, went around to Zidon, and came to the stronghold of Zor. They went on to the cities of the Hivi and of the Kenani, and finished in the south of Yehudah, at Beersheba. When they were done going through all the land, they came back to Jerusalem. It had taken 9 months and 20 days. Joab reported the results of the census to the king. There were in Israel 800,000 valiant men who could handle a sword, while the men of Yehudah numbered 500,000. But after he had taken the census, David was conscience-stricken. David said to Adonai, "I have greatly sinned in what I have done. But now, Adonai, please, put aside your servant's sin, for I have done a very foolish thing." When David got up in the morning, this word of Adonai came to the prophet Gad, David's seer. "Go and say to David that this is what Adonai says. I am giving you a choice of 3 punishments. Choose one of them, and I will execute it against you." Gad came to David and told him. He said, "Do you want 7 years of famine in your land? Or do you want to flee before your enemies for 3 months while they pursue you? Or do you want 3 days of plague in your land? Think about it, and tell me what to answer the one who sent me." David said to Gad, "This is very hard for me. Let us fall into the hand of Adonai, because his mercies are great, rather than have me fall into the hand of man." So Adonai sent a plague on Israel from that morning until the end of the specified time. 70,000 of the people died between Dan and Beersheba. But when the angel stretched out his hand toward Jerusalem to destroy it, Adonai changed his mind about causing such distress and said to the angel destroying the people, "Enough. Now withdraw your hand." The angel of Adonai was at the threshing floor of Aravna the Yevusi. David spoke to Adonai when he saw the angel striking the people. He said, "Here, I have sinned, I have done wrong. But these sheep, what have they done? Please, let your hand be against me and against my father's family." Gad came to David that day and said to him, "Go, set up an altar to Adonai on the threshing floor of Aravna the Yevusi." David went up and did what Gad had said, as Adonai had ordered. Aravna looked out and saw the king and his servants coming toward him. Aravna went out and prostrated himself before the king with his face to the ground. Then Aravna said, "Why has my lord the king come to his servant?" David said, "To buy your threshing floor, in order to build an altar to Adonai, so that the plague will be lifted from the people." Aravna said to David, "Let my lord the king take and offer up anything that seems good to him. Here are the oxen for the burnt offering. You can use the threshing sledges and the yokes for the oxen as firewood." All this, O king, Aravna gives to the king. Then Aravna said to the king, May Adonai your God accept you. But the king said to Aravna, No. I insist on buying it from you at a price. I refuse to offer to Adonai my God burnt offerings that cost me nothing. So David bought the threshing floor and the oxen for 1¼ pounds of silver shekels. Then David built an altar to Adonai there and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings. After this, Adonai took pity on the land and lifted the plague from Israel.